Hello everyone and welcome to another video. I've come across quite a few videos recently where people have shared if they had to start their wardrobe over completely from scratch, the 10 items that they would buy ready to wear clothing. I thought it would be fun to do the same thing with sewing patterns. So today I'm going to share with you 10 sewing patterns that I would make if I was trying to build my handmade wardrobe completely from scratch, completely from zero. And hopefully this will be fun to watch if you're a beginner and you're just starting to create clothing for yourself. Hopefully this gives you some inspiration, maybe some pattern ideas that you might like to try. And if you've been sewing for a long time and you have a few gaps in your wardrobe for core basic pieces, hopefully this will give you some ideas as well. If you're new to my channel, my name is Rebecca. I love talking about sewing, knitting, all things slow fashion, and sharing the process with you of creating my own handmade wardrobe. So if those are interests of yours as well, please do consider hitting the subscribe button below. And let's go ahead and get into 10 patterns to build your handmade wardrobe. First up, when I think of being in the position where you have absolutely nothing in your closet, what would you reach for first? I'm going to go with basics. I'm going to go with hardworking, versatile pieces that all work well together to build a nice little capsule of sorts. And I'm going to start with a very basic piece being a t-shirt. There are a lot of t-shirt patterns out there. There are a lot of free t-shirt patterns out there. But the one that I would choose is the LB Textiles Sage Tee. Now, this is a men's or unisex pattern, and the reason I would choose it is because it has a boxy, oversized fit. I have made several versions of this shirt. I've cropped it, I've had it longer, and I really, really love the construction as well as the style, and I think this is a great t-shirt pattern. If you're not interested in a more oversized fit and your personal style lends itself more towards outfits where a slimmer fit, closer to the body t-shirt would be more practical for you, then I recommend the Stellan tee, which is a pattern by French Navy. I've seen on Instagram recently that the designer behind French Navy I think she's making it more boxy and less slim fit. And if you can get your hands on it currently, you would get the more slim fit version. There's also the free Closet Core t-shirt that sits a little bit closer to the body. And if you're interested in t-shirt patterns in general, I have a video where I compare a group of them and give you a little bit more detail about a variety of t-shirt patterns, so I can link that below. But yes, personally, if I were to choose one, I would choose the LB Textiles Sage Tee. Number 2, the second item that I would absolutely make if I had to start my wardrobe from scratch is a button-up shirt. Similar to t-shirts, there are a huge variety of button-up shirt patterns out there to choose from. The one that I would choose and that I recommend to you is a free pattern, and that is the fabricstore.com Noah shirt. I'm choosing this because it's a really, really classic silhouette and shape. You can size up for a more oversized fit or go with your own size, or even go down a size if you want it to be a closer fit. You can crop the sleeves and have a short sleeve button-up option. I just think all of the details of the shirt pattern are really, really classic. The button placket, the yoke, the collar stand and the collar, the curved hem, and it's free. So if you're starting completely from scratch, trying to build a handmade wardrobe and you want to try a button-up shirt pattern, a free one might be a great option. There's also the Closet Core Jenna is a great shirt. I know a lot of people really like the assembly line oversized shirt. There's so many button-up shirt patterns out there. I suggest the Noah shirt because it's free, but also because it's a great shirt pattern, and I have a variety of Noah shirts in my closet that get lots and lots of wear. Still sticking with tops, another item that I would absolutely need to add if I was starting from scratch is a classic sweatshirt. And for this category, I'm going with a crew neck sweatshirt as opposed to a hoodie or a zip up because I think that they're really easy to layer and would work really well with a variety of the other garments in a smaller wardrobe. There are lots of activewear sweatshirt patterns, but the one that I recommend to you today is going to be the Madeline sweatshirt. I have actually not made this pattern. However, I did test the Madeline tee, and the style and silhouette looks very similar to the t-shirt for the sweatshirt. And so I know from experience that I really enjoy Madswick Studio patterns, and I love the silhouette of this classic crew neck sweatshirt, and I would definitely add this to my handmade wardrobe. Additionally, I think every wardrobe needs a light jacket, and I personally really enjoy a little bit of a more oversized light jacket so that I can layer the button-up shirts and the t-shirts and the sweatshirts and sweaters underneath. So the pattern that I would recommend is the Modern Sewing Company overshirt. I have made several versions of the overshirt as a jacket, and the only modification that I ended up making after my first, when I made subsequent versions, was to add about 4 inches to the length, and I made no other modifications, and this has become the shell of all of my light jackets. I think the fit is really spot on, the instructions are really, really great, and it works in a variety of materials. You could definitely make a shirt out of this pattern, but you can make it in a canvas or a denim and get a really solid light jacket pattern as well. So I really, really like this pattern, and I think it works really well with all of the other ones stylistically as well. All right, everything up to this point has been pretty casual, and so I wanted to throw in something to elevate or bring a little bit more of a formal element to the overall capsule wardrobe, and that is going to be a blazer. Now, I personally have made the Bella Loves Patterns Fran blazer, and I really recommend that pattern. It's a very involved process with lots of tailoring details and hand sewing. And I think if you're looking for an ambitious project that has a book full of instructions that you want to dive into, that's a great pattern. I've also heard a lot of people have really great success with the Closet Core Jessica blazer and the Friday Pattern Company Heather blazer. I have made the Heather blazer as well. I think that the fit for me is a little bit, the body is quite oversized and the arms are a little bit small. So if you make the Heather, maybe consider sizing up one in the arms if you want to do a lot of layering underneath it. But yes, I think if you're building your handmade wardrobe from scratch, a blazer is a really great option for more formal situations where you want a light jacket, but you want to look a little more classy, a little more put together. So the first 5 were all patterns for tops, and of course in your wardrobe you're going to need bottoms as well. A classic that I think most people have in their wardrobes is a pair of jeans. And if I had to start my wardrobe from scratch, I know with complete certainty that I would make a pair of Helene jeans. This is a pattern by Anna Allen, and I suggest it because I've made it and love it, and because the pattern itself comes with 4 different views, so I feel like you get a lot of bang for your buck with this pattern. There's a more slim leg, straight leg, wide leg, and shorts views of the pattern. I have made the straight leg, the wide leg, and the shorts, and I really enjoy all of them. This pattern has more of a high waist, and I know that that silhouette doesn't necessarily work for everyone. If you size up, they would sit a little bit lower. You can always tweak the rise as well, and the pattern does have instructions on lengthening and shortening the leg and the rise, etc. So I think a classic button-up high-waisted pair of jeans would definitely be on my list of makes if I was starting from scratch. If, however, you're not interested in that silhouette, I can recommend the Worship jeans by Daughter Judy. They sit a little bit lower on the waist, and I've also made the Merchant & Mills Heroine jeans, which have a much more oversized fit, if that's more of your aesthetic. But yes, I would definitely be making a pair of jeans, if not several. In addition to a solid pair of denim, I would want a pair of trousers. And so if I was starting completely from zero, I would choose to make the By Hand London Jackie trousers. I choose these because it's technically a unisex pattern. There's a really big range of sizes, and so you can size down if you want to have it sit more at your natural waist, or you can choose to make it in a larger size if you prefer to have a mid-rise or a lower rise trouser. Of course, you can adjust the leg length to accommodate that as well. But it's just such a classic silhouette, a pleated trouser. It works in a huge variety of materials for the different seasons. And I think if you're starting as a beginner, this was a really approachable pattern for me to sew up as well. You're not doing any welt pockets or anything like that. And you get a really elevated classic trouser shape. So I would definitely recommend the Jackie trousers. And then I know it won't be to everyone's taste, but I wanted to throw in a skirt and a dress because I know a lot of people really enjoy wearing skirts and dresses. And if those were not things that you would choose to make, maybe you could throw in an additional pair of pants in a different silhouette. But I wanted to include a skirt and a dress. And so for the skirt pattern, I would recommend the Plain Jane skirt, which is a pattern by Neighborhood Patterns. And it has an elasticated waist with a drawstring, so you can really play with where it sits on your body, making it a little bit tighter if you want it higher. There's a lot of flexibility in where it sits, as well as the length. You can make it more of like a midi skirt or maxi skirt length. The skirt has a generous amount of volume, which I think is really fun, and pockets, which are very important. And I think the skirt's a really elevated basic in that there's a hem facing at the bottom. As I said, the pockets and the drawstring, all these little touches just make it beginner approachable, but stylistically elevated. For the dress pattern that I would recommend, it's more of a category. I do have specific patterns to share, but I think when looking at a capsule of only 10 pieces or 10 patterns to start out with, versatility is really important. And so I didn't want to do an occasion dress. I wanted to have a practical dress that could be worn with a lot of other items in this group of 10. And so because of that, I would choose to make a tank dress. You can layer under it and on top of it, and you can wear it in a more formal way or in a more casual way. So the patterns that came to mind immediately for me, first up was the Nanny Eero tank dress. Now, this is a pattern that comes in a book of patterns, the Nanny Eero Sewing Studio book. And I know a lot of you probably wouldn't buy a book just for one pattern, but if you're interested in some of the other designs in that book, I really do highly rate this pattern. It's incredibly easy to make, really quick to make, and I love the silhouette. There are a lot of other tank dresses out there. The Friday Pattern Company has the saltwater slip dress. As I said, you can find a lot of other tank dresses. Helen's Closet has a free one called the Orchard dress. But I really like a tank dress as a pattern choice as well, because then you can very easily crop it and get a tank top out of it, in addition to the first pattern, which was a t-shirt that I would suggest. If you're starting from zero, versatility is really important in the patterns that you choose. And if you choose a tank dress, you also effectively have a tank top pattern. So those are the skirt and dress that I would recommend. And then to round it all out, you need a coat. And I really love the Darcy coat, which is another pattern by the Modern Sewing Company. Again, I just really aesthetically love their patterns and designs. They're very classic to me. And I love how this coat looks. I love all the little details, the fact that the designer has given you a lot of options regarding material choice and pocket and things like that that really affect how it looks. You could make a wool coat from this pattern. You could make a trench coat. You could make a cropped jacket. You could line it completely. Maybe they are all lined actually. Again, a huge amount of versatility from one pattern. So those are the 10 items that I would make if I was starting completely from scratch. And I think they all would work really well together. Let me know if you'd like to see a video where I effectively do this with items from my handmade wardrobe, where I take 10 basics and then play with all the different outfits you could put together. That might be a fun one to make. Let me know in the comments below what your go-to would be. If you had to start your wardrobe completely from scratch, what would be the first thing that you'd make? I think it's really fun to watch the videos that I mentioned of creators talking about the 10 items they would buy if they had to start from scratch, because it really shines a light on the pieces that are the most versatile, that are the true workhorses in our wardrobes, and honestly also show you maybe what you should be investing in. Because if these are the pieces that get the most wear, you want them to be made out of the strongest, highest quality, longest lasting materials too. So hopefully that was fun to watch. Again, let me know in the comments below what you would make first if you had to start from scratch, what you think are good beginner pattern recommendations as well. It's always fun to share those things with each other. And I will see you in the next one very, very soon.